Hello everybody, my name is Eli.
My name is Jaden.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Caden.
And we are the Yahoo and the Torah YouTube channel.
And we are super glad you have spent this little bit of time with us, and we are rolling through these laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. And one of us has a giggles, and Eli, is there something you'd like to say? Nope. So, here we go, folks. We are going to have a little bit of fun when we do this. It is a Shabbat Eve, and it is a, I don't know what? It is Shabbat. Nicole says it is Shabbat. She hardly ever says anything that she says something. So everything's being taken off. I think we're going to roll with this. Here we go. These are the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. These are the 613 laws of Yah. This is a list by a guy at some college that I guess he got accredited for. And the list is completely whacked. And as these guys went through this list, there was just some crazy stuff in here. And so we changed it up to what it actually was. I don't know if the guy got an A, B, C, or D, but
should have been an F.
Yeah,
should have been rejected twice.
Failed. Yeah, but it's on their page. Like he's the star student, so I don't know what to say. So the very first one is 161, which is Leviticus 18:19, and it says not to have relations with a menstrually unclean woman. Sorry, everyone. Here we go again.
It says, and do not approach a woman to uncover her at her monthly separation of uncleanness.
Yeah, so, well, this is, this is G-rated. This is for everybody out there. Yeah, nothing. You shouldn't be doing anything with an unclean woman. And in fact, women, girls, lady, everybody, when this is happening, you guys are ritually unclean according to the Torah. And so, guys, you're not supposed to touch an unclean woman. And I hate to say that, but that is just the way it is with our Creator, and He has ways for everything and reasons for everything like that. So, all right, we made it through 161. Let's go to 162. Not to marry Gentiles. Deuteronomy 7:3.
It says, and do not intermarry with them. You do not give your daughter to his son, nor do you take his daughter for your son.
Yeah, and so, what does that mean? Anyone want to take a stab at this? Not to marry Gentiles.
So, it was people outside of Israel. They wanted to keep it inside of the tribes of Israel. If you were a part of Judah, they want to keep you in Judah.
All right, Eli, who are Gentiles?
Gentiles are those who are not from Israel or Israel. They're the ones who are like the Moabites, the Hittites, the Ammonites, all of those ones.
That is not the answer I was looking for.
They're people not
that's how it was back in the day, but different now.
Jaden hit onto it. Jaden, what did you just say?
They're the people that are not in covenant.
Yes, what does that mean, Cade? Not in covenant.
Well, a covenant was a bond between you and Yah, and then when you are in covenant, you are following your Creator's laws, what He has told you to do, and that's what it means to be in covenant.
Right, and so if you guys are in covenant with our Creator, it means what exactly? How are you in covenant?
It means you're following the laws. It means you are a Hebrew.
And there is a new covenant, which is better than the old covenant. And the new covenant, what are the requirements of the new covenant?
Well, actually, it's not the new covenant. It's actually the renewed covenant, because the Israelites continually broke the covenant that was originally given to them. So He sent down His Son Yeshua to renew the covenant for us. His blood sacrifice was the renewal for our covenant, basically saying.
And so the renewed covenant is the blood of the Messiah, and what else?
The Torah.
The Torah. What is it? What do you mean the Torah?
So when you would sin or you'd break one of the commands or laws, you would have to go and sacrifice an animal depending on what kind of sin it was. But we have Yehoshua now for our sins, our repentance. We don't need to go to a priest anymore. Right,
and so the days of bloodshed like that are over after we got our Messiah. Okay, so when it says not to marry a Gentile, if I sent you guys out and you said, hey, you guys are getting ready to get married, it's time to get married, don't go marry a Gentile. What would that mean to you?
Don't marry someone not following Torah.
Right, and so what are your prerequisites for anybody who you would ever find?
They have to be in Torah.
Yeah, it's gonna be slim pickings. So, you got to be in Torah, right? You got to be pure. You got to be, you guys have been set apart for a very long time, to the point of, I don't know, maybe too much. Those homeschoolers that look around, they finally get outside the house and they start looking around. All right, so here we go. 163. That's. For those in gematria, the 163 is not good. Not to let Moabite and Ammonite males marry into the Israelite people. So that's Deuteronomy 23:4. Read this one.
An Ammonite or Moabite does not enter the assembly of Yahuwah. Even a 10th generation of them does not ever enter the assembly of Yahuwah, because they did not meet you with bread and water on the way when you came out of Mitzrayim, and because they hired against you Bilam, son of Beor, from Pethor of Aram Naharaim, to curse you.
Right. And so who are the Moabites and Ammonites, and where do they come from?
Okay, that was Lot's sons from his daughters. Another reason we have the laws that we had in the last video is because the Moabites and Ammonites were created from an incestual relationship.
Yeah, father and daughters, and it's very interesting read, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they don't want, why is it, Eli, they do not want the Moabite or Ammonite males to marry to the Israelite people?
Because they will make the Israelite people follow the other gods, not follow Elohim.
Nah, not also that. What else?
Because they're out of covenant. Their
DNA's screwed. Their DNA's over.
Their
right?
bloodline was partly, I assume it was from Lot's wife, because Lot came from Abraham's line, which was a good line, but they probably had some Nephilim DNA and Nephilim genetics in them, which caused his daughters to also be part of Nephilim.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's all about the DNA. It's about keeping your DNA cling and your structure, your temple cling, right? And that's there's lots of topics for this. 164, don't abhor or keep third generation Edomite and Egyptian converts from marrying into the Hebrew nation. Okay, what does this mean? Deuteronomy 23, 8, and 9.
Alright, it actually starts in 7. Do not loathe an Edomite, for he is your brother. Do not loathe a Mitzrayite, because you are a stranger in his land. The children of the third generation born to them do enter the assembly of Yahuwah.
Okay, so it says don't hate the third generation Edomite and Egyptian. So I guess that was a problem back in the day, as they were probably hating on the Edomites and Egyptians. So simple enough. And how does, if say there was an Egyptian or even an Egyptian slave that wanted to start following the Creator, how would that happen? How would they join in to a tribe back in the days?
Back in the days, I think they would, because back in the days, most people would just like joined in on the way out of Egypt. There's a lot of mixed races there.
A lot of slaves, yeah.
And they're like, I want to go with you. I want to be part of your people, and they would just join in.
So there was a million other kinds of people that joined in to the actual Hebrew people that were leaving Mitzrayim, and so yeah, they mixed stuff right there. Okay, so 166. There's more gematria. A Gentile child cannot become an Israelite. Okay, what does that mean? Deuteronomy 23:3.
An Ammonite or Moabite does not enter the assembly of Yahuwah. Even a 10th generation of them not ever enter the assembly of Yahuwah.
Okay, so that does not, Eli, you need to fix that. It does not say a Gentile child. It says it gives two specific people, and who are the people, Cubs?
The Ammonite and the Moabite.
Okay, so it doesn't say that, right? So, and that's, that's from the same command. Why is this, guys?
Because of Ammon and Moab being Lot's sons from his daughter.
Yeah, you don't want to corrupt your DNA. All right, so 167, a eunuch or mutilated man may not enter into the community. And this guy has some crazy stuff on this. I'm not even going to get into that one, but this is the better refined version of this.
All right. One of his century's birth does not enter the assembly of Yahuwah. Even the 10th generation of his does not enter the assembly of Yahuwah.
Okay, so a eunuch or a mutilated man may not enter into, it says community. What does it say?
Okay, we got one verse up here. One of wounded, mutilated, or genitally cut off does not enter the assembly of Yahuwah. Then the next verse says, one of incestuous birth does not enter the assembly of Yahuwah. Even the 10th generation of his does not enter the assembly of Yahuwah.
So, anyone want to take a stab at this one?
I guess if you have some,
what is the assembly of Yahuwah, first of all?
I would think that's part of the priest or something like that, or somewhere in there.
Yeah, I would say that's something, like where you have to be perfect before our Creator.
Like the priests, they couldn't have scars. They couldn't.
You can't. Well, they didn't say you couldn't have scars. You couldn't have festering wounds. You can't have
blemishes and crazy.
Yeah, crazy blemishes that are eating up your
things on yourself.
Right. Okay, and so that's the best we have on 167. 168, not to bring a deformed animal to Yahuwah, Leviticus 22:24. And, Kate, the other one?
Yep. 24. Do not bring to Yahuwah what is bruised or crushed or torn or cut, nor do it in your land.
All right, anybody, let's go with this.
Okay, so when you brought an animal before Yahuwah for a sacrifice or some kind of offering or something, it had to be perfect. He had requirements for each offering. What it had to be a bull or a lamb, and it could not be and have blemishes. It had to be perfect. So when you would bring something like this to Yahuwah, it was an abomination.
Yeah, so who messed this up to begin with? Out of the gate.
Oh, Cain.
How did he mess this up? What happened?
Give fruit instead of an animal.
Yeah, he gave fruit instead of an animal, and you have to actually like read deep into like super extracurricular books like the Book of Adam and Eve to even understand exactly what was going on back then. But it was the farmer versus the rancher, and our Creator likes certain things, certain fragrances of sacrifice, and that's what he wanted. Okay, so yeah, when you're bringing a sacrifice to Yahuwah, right, you're not supposed to be cheap. Don't be cheap. You're not supposed to find, your some three-legged animal and take him in and have a sacrifice and hope that goes well. He wants a perfect sacrifice, and that's why the blood of the Mashiach was something that was the perfect sacrifice. It was our Mashiach, Messiah Yahushua HaMashiach, or some know as Jesus Christ. He walked the Torah perfectly, and by that he was slaughtered by his own people, and by that blood we are healed. All right, so 169. The high priest must not marry a widow. Leviticus 21:14.
All right, so chapter 21 is talking about the high priest and what he could and could not do. And in verse 14 says, a widow or one put away, or a defiled woman, or a whore, these he does not take, but a maiden of his own people he takes as wife.
Yeah, and so, that's basically it. If he's taken a wife, it needs to be a pure woman, unblemished, right from her parents. 170. The high priest must not have relations with a widow.
That's the same thing.
Leviticus 21:14. So, and same thing almost. Did you do 13?
Nope.
The high priest must marry a virgin. Leviticus 21:13.
And let him take a wife in her maidenhood.
There you go. I don't think you need too much more describing this. 172. A priest must not marry a divorcee.
They do not take a woman who is a whore or a foul woman, and they do not take a woman put away from her husband, for he is Kadesh to his Elohim.
All right, so they have a couple of them here. It didn't say anything about a prostitute there, did it?
Yeah,
that's 173. They say show
right
there.
Yes, it's a whore. Who is a whore?
Okay. So no whores, no women who have been with a man, or a defiled woman, which is again the same thing. Okay, so 175. Not to have relations, says no to have relations, not to have relations with the family. Leviticus 18:6. What is this?
It says, no one is to approach anyone of his own flesh to uncover his nakedness. I am Yahuwah.
Yeah, okay. We went over this yesterday in depth. It's you stay out of the family tree. So you stay out of your family tree altogether.
Branch off to a new tree.
Yes, find a new tree and start a new...
Plant your own tree.
Yes. Okay, so 176, to examine animals that are permitted as food. Leviticus 11:2. And
11:2. All right. Speak to the children of Israel, saying, these are living creatures which you do not eat among all the beasts that are on the earth.
okay, right, and so we
And
went
it
over
goes to a whole list of animals.
right, and so we went over all these laws the other day. We were talking about this. Rabbit, clean or dirty?
Dirty.
Octopus,
Dirty. Tasty.
shrimp,
Dirty. Unclean.
trout.
Clean, I think.
What is it? Trout has
fins and
What is the
scales.
definition of clean fish?
Fins and scales.
Fins and scales. So a trout is clean. Salmon.
Clean.
Name some other clean foods.
We got, what are the other ones? Like, we're talking just seafood in general?
Anything. Other clean foods.
There's bass.
Bass.
Cows.
Yep. Cows.
Chickens.
Yep. What else? Kangaroos.
No.
Turkeys.
Why not?
There are pets.
Why can't we eat a kangaroo?
Because they have a split hoof.
Yeah,
They're not like any
probably
animal.
punch you in the face as well.
They're not friendly.
You want to eat me? I'll eat you.
Yeah, he's duking out with you.
Turkeys.
Turkeys are clean or dirty?
Clean.
Okay. What about a duck?
That's actually,
I
don't think so. I don't think it's clean.
I think it's dirty. I think we figured that out. Those were hard ones to figure out. I think the eggs of the ducks as well are dirty.
They're cute pets though.
Yeah, they are cute pets. What about flies?
One who eats flies too, that's unclean.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
The cockroach is unclean, just so everyone knows.
What about balut?
That's
the
unclean.
Japanese.
That's dead, man. That's dead a long time ago.
Well, okay, so it's a dead. For those who don't know, it's a dead chicken that people in Japan like bury in their backyard for like years, and they come out and it's like a super expensive delicacy.
You're not supposed to eat anything that like died naturally.
Yeah, you should not eat balut, folks.
You're not supposed to like eat the carcasses either. Like anything of a carcass, you weren't supposed to eat that.
Yeah, so what does that mean? You have a dead cow, your cow falls over and dies. Do you get the tools out and put it in the fridge or what?
You have to bury it. If it dies like that and you find it dead, I mean, if you kill it as it's sick, then you should eat it. But if
depending on what it had.
Yeah, it depends
yeah,
on
that's true.
a lot of problems. Yeah, they can have a lot of issues. Okay, all right, that sounds good. So yeah, you should examine what you're eating. Don't eat unclean food. Oh, and somebody said that the other day. They were talking about, I think, pig in certain things, and I don't remember what it was, but literally pigs are in everything. And gummies, like fruit gummies, like gummy worms, gummy bears, things of that nature. If it uses a certain gelatin, I guess it's all pork. And so if it's like really low, cheap gummies and stuff, it all has pork in there. So we got to be super careful
sad.
what we're eating. It is sad. It is sad, man. The world is like completely crazy. To be careful to eat only clean birds. Deuteronomy 14:11.
It says, "Of all clean birds ye shall eat."
Okay.
Okay.
Simple enough. We went over the clean birds already. Vultures.
Unclean.
Why are they unclean?
Sky pigs, man.
Yeah, they are sky pigs. And what does this vulture look like?
It's like a big.
Big, hairy, red balded thing. Redhead bald.
Does it have any hair on its head?
No,
it's
it's
weird.
It's weird looking.
But do you know why it doesn't have hair on its head?
I actually do not.
Do you guys
It's
know
so it
that?
doesn't get the guts and all the blood on its head.
It's so Yah
stuck in
created
its
these things
hair.
so it can go into the bodies of these things and come out, and it doesn't have guts all over its head, right? It has
That's
no hair.
disgusting.
That's awesome. That's
That's-
why we don't eat them, right? They go around and consume that kind of stuff, which is really cool. Okay, let's lock and load 178 to distinguish which sea creatures are fit to eat. Leviticus 11:9.
All right, it says, "These you do eat that are in the waters, and the one that has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas or the rivers, that you do eat."
All right, and so sea creatures once again we've lobster.
Nope.
Why?
I guess he's fins or scales. He's like pinchers and like hard shell.
Right, and I told you guys about my crab when I was growing up. I always had this little crab that they always ended up suiciding. I don't know why my crabs always
you had
ended
a
up
crab?
dying. I did. I had a whole bunch of them. Right,
I
so I
heard
had
of
this
lobster.
one. No, it's a little crab, and so I had him in my fish tank, and he would always climb out. He'd like through a little back thing and go suicide. I'd like walk over and it would like crush on the floor. I'm like, my crab again. So I kept going to the pet store and buying this more crab. Well, this crab, you had to feed this thing shrimp brine, and so I had this chunk of dead fish, and you drop it in the fish tank, and it would drop down, and he would walk over with his little pinchers and grab it and eat it. And I always had problems with my fish because I wasn't good enough about cleaning my fish bowl, and so my fish would die. And so the crab would come over on these fish are on death's door, right? The crab would walk over to him, grab him, and start eating the dying fish. Yeah, and these fish were not getting in good shape, right? They just started losing their eye look and stuff. And I mean, I was a horrible child when it came to cleaning my fish bowl. And so that's just some of the stories.
Require
but
special water too, like some certain water. that
this
comes in.
one did not. These ones were not freshwater ones. They were just like
You
stuff that
suck
would
the
live there.
crab with the fish.
Yeah, you're supposed to. That's how you're
They live
supposed
in
to
Harmony
clean
or
it.
something. You ever seen Nemo?
It's supposed to live in harmony. Yeah, they did. They were really super cool. I love my little crabs, but they
They're monsters.
they were died. Yeah, no, and that the point of that whole story is they would eat the dead fish, right? They would go through. It doesn't care what they're eating. Our Creator has created these types of animals, pig and vultures and lobsters and shrimp and things of that nature. And you can stick a pile of shrimp inside of a bucket of horrible water inside a couple of weeks. The waters may cling, and so then you eat these shrimps, and the shrimps are pus pockets, and you're just eating this stuff. It's not healthy for
And
you.
a cow's not going to go eat its dead corpse, its friend's dead corpse.
Right,
so
it
they're
doesn't.
not gonna
Right,
go-
yeah,
like
no.
Chickens don't. Okay, chickens might actually die, but chickens have like certain stomachs where it's meant for digesting. There's some way
Rabbits,
actually clean.
bunky.
I don't think
my rabbit would always go and it would kill its babies and it would eat them. Rabbit. That's why we don't eat rabbits. And somebody asked the other day, "Do
Oh,
we eat
yes.
rabbits?" No, we don't. They're they're cool, but they're crazy creatures. All right, let's keep rolling, folks. All right, 179 to distinguish which winged insects may be eaten. Leviticus 11:21.
All flying insects that creep on all fours is an abomination to you. Only these you do eat of every flying insect that creeps on all fours, those which have jointed legs above their feet, with which to leap on the earth.
So praying mantis, I think praying mantis doesn't.
Grasshopper.
Praying mantis has
locust.
a bent arm.
I think it's joined.
Does it say in there which ones they are?
It says, "These of them you do eat: the locust after its kind, and the destroying locust after its kind, and the cricket after its kind, and the grasshopper after its kind. But all the other flying insects which have 4 feet is an abomination to you."
I don't know. Oh, wait, praying mantis might have more than 4 feet.
Yeah, it's like 6.
Yeah, I think it's 6 or 7.
I don't know. It looks a lot like a giant grasshopper, right? So I don't know. You'd have to look that up. I don't
They look
know.
like they want to bite you all the time.
Yeah, no, they're cool. All of Yah's creatures are completely cool.
Except
Okay.
the scorpion.
Yeah, the
He's
scorpion.
not cool.
Dude, there's two. They have a place. They have a place for everything. We've all been bitten here by scorpions. You guys have been bitten.
Yeah,
right?
I
I've
have
been-
not.
I have.
I have. Yeah, we
But-
live in the jungle. And Cade, he got bit by.
Oh, furry caterpillars. They are not cool.
No,
That's less than cool.
down here you can end up in the ER. People go into anaphylactic shock or some kind of shock, but it's definitely hurts. And Cubby, Caden, sorry, that's his nickname, Cubby. He took a caterpillar to the arm. Okay, let's roll on, folks. 181, not to eat forbidden birds. Leviticus 11:13.
All right, it said, "And these birds you do abominate among the birds; they are not eaten. They are an abomination: the eagle, the vulture, and the black hawk vulture, and the hawk, and the falcon after his kind, every raven after his kind, and the ostrich and the night hawk, and the seagull and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl, the fisher owl, and the great owl, the white owl, and the pelican, and the carrion vulture, the stork, the heron after his kind, and the hoopie and the bat."
So I can't eat the flamingo?
I don't think the ostrich either. And they are.
Really, ostrich?
Can you? I don't think you need
Do
ostrich.
people eat ostriches? Is that a thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
They find every animal and they decide, I'm going to eat
People
this.
like the size of an ostrich egg is like it's a volleyball, and it's like they will literally have ginormous omelets out of like ostrich eggs.
Wow.
Yeah. So all right, don't eat the forbidden birds, and all those creatures like the owls and the hawks and different things like that. They are wild birds, right? They go down there, they'll rip the head right off a mouse and eat it, and they're just
All right,
gross. That's how they eat. Sorry. 182. Not to eat sea creatures without fins and scales. Leviticus 11:11.
They are an abomination to you. Of their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you abominate.
Okay, so anything out of the sea with fins and scales is good to eat. 183. Do not eat unclean flying insects. Deuteronomy 14:19.
And every creeping thing that flies is unclean unto you. They shall not be eaten.
Yep. And so when it's in Deuteronomy, usually it's like reiterating everything prior to this. And so these guys' list is like from one side of the book to the others, and it's really there's no rhyme or reason to how they have this stuff out there. Okay, so what do we do? 183, not to eat unclean flying insects.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And small swarming insects and unclean creatures that crawl on land are forbidden as food. Leviticus 11:41. Who's got it?
I do. "And every creeping creature that creeps on the earth is an abomination; it is not eaten."
Okay, and Leviticus, here, just run through this real quick. 42, 43, and 44.
All right. It says, so start in 42, or start in 41. "And every creeping creature that creeps on the earth is an abomination; it is not eaten. Whatever crawls on its stomach, and whatever goes on all fours, and whatever has many feet among all creeping creatures that creep on the earth, these you do not eat, for they are an abomination. Do not make yourselves abominable with any creeping creature that creeps, and do not make yourselves unclean with them, lest you be defiled by them."
Right, and so there's 4 verses, and this is in this guy's order: 184, 185, 186, 187. So basically, it's like iguanas down here. There's lots of iguanas. Are iguanas clean or dirty?
Birds are dirty.
They're dirty,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Although people do eat them with a
Yeah,
side
they-
of rice.
yeah,
It's
they-
actually a thing.
I've heard they say it's really good.
They love
They
iguana.
say it's better than fried chicken.
Yeah, iguana's very popular down here, and so if you have a big old 6-foot iguana, man, that's going right to somebody's table, no doubt.
Yeah, the first person that sees it, they're like, that's it. I'm going to get my shotgun. I'll be right back.
Yeah, this is a very violent terrain. You can get into a lot of trouble. The locals down here, when they are able to kill a snake, they usually have this thing where they take shots or something, because they survived. You guys remember this at all?
Yeah.
The guys that killed the snakes that were over there. So it's like a big
times.
deal when they survive a snake. It's a huge cheers
Okay, they'll
thing.
start asking for alcohol.
Yeah, because it's like one of those things you could have very well gotten bit and killed, and that's the game over at that point. Okay, here we go. So yeah, don't eat any of that stuff like that. Not to eat in 180. 5, not to eat the abominations. What are the abominations?
Yeah, and then creeps on
Pig, vulture.
Yeah, pig.
Any
Guys,
unclean animal. That's an abomination, man.
Yeah, don't eat the swine, guys. Please don't eat
The abominable pig, the abominable vulture, man. Don't eat them.
Yeah,
and I'm sure ostrich is unclean as well.
Right.
Don't know that.
186. Did we go through this one?
Yeah.
Okay, snakes, scorpions, worms found on the ground, creatures of the water.
We're on 188.
188. Not to eat of an animal that died without ritual slaughter. Okay, Deuteronomy 14:21.
Ye shall not eat of anything that dies of itself. You shall give it unto the stranger that is in your gates, that he may eat it, or you may sell it unto an alien. For you are a holy people unto YHWHs. You shall not seethe a kid in its mother's milk.
Okay, so that's very interesting. So as a person of Yah, what are we to do? A cow dies, drops dead.
They can't eat it.
Right, and so that's a tremendous amount of cow.
Yeah, depending on how cow, yeah.
I mean, you could lose a year's worth of food. And so you don't eat it, right? You do not eat it. And what do? What does it say to do?
You can give it to, you can sell it onto a foreigner, or you can give it to like someone who lives around you.
Huh. Very interesting. So I guess you can.
Yeah, there you go, stranger.
Yeah. So you got to carve it up quickly. Okay. Where are we at? 189. Not to eat an ox that was condemned to be stoned. Exodus 21:28.
All right. And when an ox gores a man or a woman to death, then the ox shall certainly be stoned, and its flesh is not eaten, and the owner of the ox is innocent.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, there's rules for literally everything, and I mean, if our cow broke out and gored somebody to death, there would be a rule for it. What happens if our cow gored somebody to death? What would be responsible according to the Torah?
We'd kill it and not eat it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you're supposed to give it to the other person.
But here we go. In the next verse 29, which will go right into 30, it goes, however, if the ox was previously in the habit of goring, and its owner has been warned and has not kept it confined, so that it has killed a man or a woman, the ox is stoned, and its owner is also put to death. If a sin covering is laid upon him, then he shall give the ransom of his life, whatever is laid on him. Whether it is gored a son or a daughter, according to his right ruling, it is done to him.
Okay, so if our cow went out and gored somebody and we didn't deal with it, and went out and gored somebody again, then what?
If it likes to gore people, all right, we gotta keep this cow confined, and we just let it loose and it gores someone, we would basically either be stoned and put to death.
You're responsible for your animals. So I mean, that's a heavy thing. I mean, if you're into cow raising, don't let your cows go crazy.
Trim their horns.
Yeah, trim their
give
horns.
them hugs as
Yes, give them big hugs, and they will grow up to be evil cows.
They'll actually like humans.
Yes. All right, 190. Not to eat meat of a mortally wounded animal. Exodus 22:30.
It's actually 31. And it says, and you are Kodesh men to me, and you do not eat any meat which is torn to pieces in the field. You throw it to the dogs.
Right, okay, so that's simple enough, right? You walk up on your cow that's been shredded by the local wolves or something, and you don't do anything. Would you feed that to your neighbor?
No, it says give it to the dogs.
Yeah, it's not good. You wouldn't do anything
It's so
like
bad,
that.
it needs to go to the dogs.
All right, so is that our 30 for the night?
Yep.
Okay, so that is it, guys. So that is the next 30 that we have. We keep rolling these things in 30s, and I hope you guys are getting something from this. I hope you guys have a wonderful Shabbat. There's a few of you guys that are looking for a live chat with us. We are trying to work on that, trying to figure this out, and hopefully at some point next week we'll try to do kind of a live little night thing where we can talk to all of you guys and see how you all are, and we will go from there. So I guess Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Any guys have anything?
This is a day of rest, so have some peace, spend the day with your Creator. If it's not too late, don't cook, and if you have food prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess that's a good time real quick. How do we keep a Shabbat? What are the requirements for keeping Shabbat?
Don't work, don't cook.
Don't buy, don't sell, don't put anybody in your house to work, don't put your animals to work.
Don't light fires.
If your cow goes and breaks the fence and falls in a ditch, what do you do?
Pick your cow and put him back home.
Right, okay, and I mean, if you're starving to death and there's no food, you have zero food whatsoever.
I guess get food.
Well, how did the Messiah and his apostles do it?
They went and plucked some corn.
Yeah, and then they got in trouble by the Pharisees and Sadducees who didn't even keep. Yeah, the hypocrites who didn't even keep the laws of our Creator. Okay, anybody have anything?
Read your Bible, shalom.
Read your Bible, shalom. Okay, guys,
Shalom.
we are out. Have a good one. Almost.